People always just look at prices, but what determines prices? It's capital flows within crypto, but also from traditional finance to crypto. Let's have a look at both in this video. What we're seeing over here is a chart showing dominances, as in how much of the entire crypto market is, for example, in Bitcoin, that's in orange, or in the altcoins, that's in purple, or in Ethereum, that's in blue, or in the stable coins, that's at the bottom in turquoise. And it's interesting how this ebbs and flows. What's moving the prices might not necessarily only be people buying the token directly with their fiat. It might simply be conversions from Bitcoin to the altcoins, from stablecoins to the altcoins, maybe sometimes from altcoins to Ethereum, because there are a lot of liquidity pools on chain that are linked to Ethereum. And so what we can observe very often is that there's a trading range within crypto. So just relatively speaking, Ethereum relative to Bitcoin or Ethereum relative to the altcoins, it tends to simply ebb and flow within a somewhat predictable range. Now this is a chart most people look at. This is the Ethereum price relative to Bitcoin's price. And we've got an all-time high in June of 2017. So in the last 7 years, Ethereum actually did not outperform Bitcoin. The underperformance was 72% to today. But what's even way more interesting than this chart is this one over here, because I believe altcoins and Ethereum are somewhat in a similar capital bracket. They are both risk-on assets, they are both used for active trading, and you can very often directly swap your favorite altcoin to Ethereum, and of course also the other way around on decentralized exchanges. So what we look at over here is the other dominance plus the Ethereum dominance. How much of all of crypto is either in Ethereum or in the major altcoins? And unfortunately, this went from 34% of all of crypto down to 24% since the Ethereum merge. So the move from proof of work to proof of stake. A lot of the underperformance just happened in the last few weeks because the market is somewhat disappointed by the numbers around the Ethereum ETF. Have a look at this. At the beginning, there was quite a bit of activity, but that activity has slowed down dramatically. There was an initial conversion from grayscale holdings to the cheaper vehicles, but that's about it. There isn't a lot of net inflows. If you just look at the last 7 days, there might be a slight inflow of 0.4% annualized, but that's still less than what's currently being issued in Ethereum supply through staking the ETH, right? So the Ethereum supply is increasing by 0.6% per annum. Now that's somewhat fluctuating, right? So when we look at this since the merge, initially Ethereum was used quite a bit. So there was more Ethereum burned than issued through staking. Now the burning isn't that large anymore because Ethereum isn't used that much, leading to more net issuance. And so this is how the issuance was before the move from proof of work to proof of stake. There is actually way less issuance now. And so one might expect when the supply isn't expanding anymore, or at least is expanding relatively slowly, and most of the supply gets scooped up by the ETF, wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that Ethereum outperformed since the merge? Because have a look at this. If we never moved to proof of stake, if we simply just kept what we had before the transition, we would now see 3.2% supply expansion per year. Unfortunately, the merge did not help. Ethereum underperformed Bitcoin. And with it, of course, also the altcoins, because a lot of altcoin prices are coupled to the Ethereum price through those liquidity pools. This video is sponsored by the premium membership. I never take any money from any crypto project. I never take any affiliate links from centralized exchanges. I never pump and dump coins. Instead, I offer valuable tutorials in the premium membership. Feel free to check it out. Now here's a metric that's very useful to figure out if we are currently in an overarching bear market or bull market. And that's the stable coin supply. How many stable coins are currently floating around across various blockchains? And this tended to increase very rapidly up until a point when Terra Luna collapsed, when the UST stablecoin imploded. This introduced a bear market and the stablecoin market cap tended to go down, and it then turned around in October of last year. Since then, we see an expansion. There was a bit of a break between April and August of this year, but now we are slightly expanding yet again. And so the money has to flow somewhere, right? When more money is flowing into crypto, when the stablecoin market cap is going up, when fiat gets converted into stablecoins, that stablecoin money has to get deployed. And I believe it currently still gets mainly deployed into Bitcoin, and probably that trend will continue for a while. Because have a look at this. This is the Bitcoin dominance relative to the others dominance and Ethereum dominance. So how much larger is Bitcoin relative to the rest? And the answer is currently 2.4 times larger. And it's very interesting how we bottomed out at a very similar level to January of 2018. There seems to be somewhat of a stable range here. And we have still quite some way to go. The money that's currently flowing into crypto mainly goes into Bitcoin. Something that we've already seen in this chart. The Bitcoin dominance tends to increase. Now, when there's this active swapping happening between Ethereum and the other altcoins, is there maybe a range? I believe yes, there is. So what we are looking at over here is the others dominance divided by the Ethereum dominance. And sometimes altcoins aren't that fashionable. People don't want to be in altcoins. And sometimes people sell off their Ethereum and rather hold alts. So to answer the question, does it make sense to hold altcoins rather than Ethereum and take on that additional risk? If we just have a look at this over the very long term, over the last 7 years, the answer is no, right? You simply could have owned just Ethereum and you would have done fine. However, there are times where there's extreme undervaluation of altcoins or extreme overvaluation of altcoins. And you can make a 2x riding those waves repeatedly. Currently, it seems like we are neither very expensive nor very cheap on the alts relative to ETH. The extreme values are interesting, but currently we are pretty much in the middle. So probably it does not necessarily make sense to hold alts right now because alts in general tend to be more risky. And long term, they did not return more than ETH. Now this is applying more for broadly held altcoin baskets, right? If you just have 1 or 2 altcoins that you're hyper focused on, where you believe in the story, then that's a different thing. But if you've got 10, 20, 30 altcoins, then your portfolio performance is very likely going to be similar to the others' dominance. And then you might simply just hold Ethereum. You do just as well. Except of course when we are at these very depressed levels for the alts, which we currently are not. If you got something out of this video, feel free to give this a like. Feel free to also subscribe. I publish videos regularly on this channel. In case you've got Telegram, feel free to join us. The link is down below. Looking very much forward to chatting with you.